Node.js and how it is going to work, we are going to see in today's class. So first of all, before going to this session, last session I gave you the what is JavaScript engine and everything, how it is working. Okay, so everyone clear on that? So what is JavaScript and how it works? All the things we have seen in the previous class. Okay, so now we are going to see the thing. So I already told you what is a Java Node.js. So Node.js, how it works. So let's see what are the example we have seen in the last session. We'll try to refresh it a bit. Okay, let's go over here. So see, so what we had discussed in the last session, how Node.js works. So Node.js is a single thread architecture. Okay, so we don't have multiple threads. So if you see other programming languages like Java, JavaScript, PHP, all the things, what happens is there will be multiple threads. Okay, so there are going to be multiple threads and the threads are going to handle the request. But here you are going to have only one thread because JavaScript also single thread. Then how JavaScript is going to handle, Node.js is going to handle multiple requests sending by the users. Okay, how these are going to handle. Okay, so now let's see a restaurant model example. This is a server, or else you can mention this one as a Node.js Node.js server, or let's make it as kitchen. Okay, now let's see, there are couple of tables here. Table number 1, table number 2, table number 3. Okay, so here. So we are going to have a waiter. There is a waiter. So what happens? So Node.js works in a situation like JavaScript only, but how it works? So Node.js, if there is a order from table number 1, think like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 tables. So we have one waiter. What he'll do? First he will take order, okay, and he move it to the kitchen. Same like this, when there is a request coming from a number 1 person, it will take a request and it will send it to the server. That's it. As soon as you send a request, that's over. There is no issue. Okay, it's going to start. And then what happens, this waiter is not going to wait at the server until unless request is performed and you will get an output. What happens, this request will be, or the waiter will be free, and if there are any orders finished here cooking, he will be transferred to here. As of now there is one order, it went. So now at the same time there is a request come from 5th user. So what happens, the request will, waiter will take the request and will process over here. Fine. Now the waiter is here. Okay, at the time there is a request coming from 2nd. So what he'll do, suppose at the time waiter 1, table 1 order is finished, he will take this order to here and he will move to the 2nd place and will take an order. So what happens is like there is no blockage. Okay, there is a process, one single process which is going to handle all the requests, take a request, send it to server. And how server is going to handle this request? See, if it is a restaurant or something, they will know which table, which number order they need to serve. They'll send it, they'll keep a receipt, and based on the receipt only, server will go to the respected, means the waiter will go to the respected table. The same concept here works in JavaScript in a concept of in a concept of callbacks. Okay, it happens with callbacks. So what is a callback? Okay, so what is a callback we are going to see. So the callbacks is going to be most important session in our classes, because all Node.js, JavaScript, advanced technologies, everything works on JavaScript callback. So first of all, what is a callback? So let's go to a basic example. Okay, suppose I want to do some calculations. Okay, I want to do some calculations. I want to do some calculation. It may be addition, it may be subtraction, it may be modification, anything I wanted to do. Suppose I am going to do create a calculator. Simple example. I am going to create a function calculator. Okay. When I have a calculator, okay, when I have a calculator, what I am going to do here is, okay, I am going to take two numbers, a comma b. Okay, now I am going to write a function calc of, I am going to call 10 comma 20. Suppose if I am doing an addition, what I will do? What I will do? Where c equal to a plus b, okay, and console dot log of c. If you call this function normally, you are seeing 30. So you are seeing the calculator. So, but my calculator does not only do calculation, it will do addition, subtraction, modification, anything it can do. You have to do based on the thing you need to do. So to do this one, you need to do what you need to do. You need to write multiple functions called add, subtraction, multiplication. Like this, you need to do multiple things. Okay, and suppose there is a modification needed. Sometimes again you need to face a lot of issues. So that's reason what we did is we came up with a concept called callback function. So callback functions is nothing but as soon as a function finished its execution. Okay, as soon as a function finished its execution. You're getting my point. As soon as a function finished its execution, it is not going to come back to the place where it is called. Okay, it is moving to some other function. So here, as soon as calc is finished, is it coming to the calc? No. Normally it comes to here. But what we are going to do is, instead of coming back to the same function again, we are going to call one more function. So I'll show you an example. So what I'm doing here is function add a comma b, where c equal to a plus b. So not log of c. And what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to do one more call over here, add subtraction, see here what I'm doing. So I'm creating different function. I'm going to have addition, subtraction, multiplication. Normally when you are doing addition, multiplication, subtraction, you need to call add of a comma b, subtraction of a comma b, multiplication of a comma b. Instead of this one, what we are trying to do is, by using the callbacks, we are going to achieve this one. So how we are going to do callbacks? So callback function is a function which will be called after a function is completed its execution. So now I have addition, subtraction, multiplication, correct? As soon as this function finished execution, so console.log of, we are going to do calculator. Yeah. Okay, so as soon as this function is executed, instead of passing back to the place where we called, we are going to a place where we are pointing out, so that it won't go to the actual call, it will go to the one more function block. So here what I'm doing is I'm going to do type, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to print the type, and here see what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to call type of a comma b. So here, as soon as when I'm calling callback, as soon as I'm calling a calculator function here, I'm going to pass addition, add. I'm going to pass a variable called add. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass to this calculator function, and here I am explicitly telling boss, as soon as my calculator function is done, don't go to the don't go to the call function, go to the function whichever I have mentioned over here. Okay, let's execute this one. See here what is happening. See here what is happening. If you see clearly, you can able to see what is going to happen here. So I'm writing a callback. You should not provide as a name. You should have provided as a callback. So callback is a function which will be called as soon as the actual execution is over. So what I'm trying to do, I'm creating a calculator over here. So I'm passing 10 and 20. And I'm passing what type of calculation I want to do. I want to do a addition, or I want to do a subtraction, I want to do a multiplication. So when I send this thing, it is going to the callback. What it is trying to tell, as soon as this is the function parameter, see here, this is the function parameter. So here what you are trying to tell is you are going to tell when it is has to cal. So normally if you try to do a add here, it will directly go to the add, but that also you need to explicitly mention where that need to be called. Okay, instead of coming back to me where that has to be called exactly, that you need to mention. So that's the reason we are going to have the callback over here. So we are going to call a callback, and then that callback is the parameter what you are passing in the function. So I'm passing a add function over here. Okay, when I pass a add function here, what it is doing, it is going to the callback. And then see here, this is now it treats as a, whenever it is a callback, it treats as a function, it won't treat as a variable. That's the reason it is going to the callback. So what is the callback? It will be replaced. See here, normally callback is a just a variable, but how it became add explicitly. So, sorry, it's not going to do explicitly, but implicitly it is going to call add off. So normally if you write a callback off, it is going to be a function. Callback also a variable. So that is a variable. It has to call callback function. But how come it is calling add off? Suppose I'll do here multiplication. Okay. If I call multiplication, see what happens here. When I pass add, okay, add is happening. When I pass multiplication, multiplication function is calling automatically. It is not a calling a function called callback. So what happens is callback is a JavaScript variable. It tells where I need to go and execute the next step. Okay, so like this, JavaScript happens in Node.js. So just in time edit executor. Okay, these are all the things happens here. So what happens is normally whenever you are doing some calculation in Node.js, whenever you are sending a request in Node.js, it will go to the server. So here it came to the server. Suppose here you are having a wait. Suppose think like here I have a, see here, set timeout of, suppose I have mentioned 10,000 seconds. Set mode won't work here because this is already in a callback. So what happens is like suppose this function is waiting around, suppose this function is waiting around 3 minutes to get the call response. So what happens then? So whenever a request came to Node.js and it comes here and it knows it is going to execute, and once this is the execution done, where it has to transfer, so where it has to transfer, callback it has to transfer. There is no waiting time over here, so that the requests and responses will be exactly moved to the point where it needed. Okay, this is how, this is a callback function. In the same callback function, Node.js also works. So Node.js works in a pattern of callbacks. So whenever multiple requests are coming to the server, so server side, it will know which callback it has to call and where the response it has to go. So based on this, a request will go back to the server and a request will go back to the user and the response is served. So this is the way Node.js works, and this is a single thread architecture. And why this Node.js became this much popular comparatively with Java and all these things. So as I told you, JavaScript is a single thread architecture. Whenever multiple requests are coming, so all the requests handled by single thread. Suppose if you go to the Java and other programming languages, each and every request it will create thread multiple threads until unless a response is coming back. Simple example, the request came, there are 5 requests came, Java will create 5 requests. So simple example, each and every request is taking around 200 kb or 300 kb. What happens, these 5 threads will be going parallelly, okay, as well as coming back different times or something. So you are creating around 1000 kb, but in Node.js all these 5 requests are coming parallelly. So requests will be served one after other, but these requests are fast because once the request will take and you send it to server, immediately take the, within very light fraction of second take one more request. So that you'll be having for the 5 requests here, you are having one thread. In Java and other servers, it will having multiple threads. So there, the number of threads will be increasing and memory will be increasing, which is based of memory in the computer or server. But here in Node.js, you have one thread. Now you will get a question. Sir, this will be fine. Suppose you are getting around 1000 to 5000 requests. This is fine. Suppose you are getting hundreds of requests, means like you are getting 1 lakh requests, 2 lakh requests, or millions of requests. Simple example, if you see Facebook and all these things, they are getting lot number of requests. How the requests are going to be handled? So how the requests are going to be handled here is, I'll show you the one more example. So how the requests are going to be handled by multiple things is simple example. There are two types of balancing happens from a server side. Okay, so two types of handling servers had things handled by server side. Suppose let's take a server. I have a server, okay, and this server is having around this server is having around 8 GB RAM, 1 TB hard disk, and very good processor. Okay, there is a system over here. This is how. So think like this 8 GB and 100 TB things can handle 1,000 or 10,000 request at a time. It may be per minute or it may be per second. So this server can handle 10,000 requests per a minute, and this is having 8 GB, 1 TB hard disk and processor. So now suppose you are getting after 1 month or 2 months of your server went live, you are getting around 5,000 requests per a minute. Sorry, 50,000 requests per a minute. So at that time, you are going to have two type of scalings. Two types of, one is horizontal, second is, okay, so vertical scaling happens. So what is the difference between horizontal scaling and vertical scaling? Simple example. So can you tell me in your way, what you think? As of now, I'm getting 10,000 requests per second. Suppose you are getting 20,000 requests or 50,000 requests you are going to get. Or else in the morning it will get 10,000, night it will get 20,000. So how is the server can handle? Any ideas? Okay, fine. I'll tell you. Okay. So there are two types. One is horizontal and one is vertical. So what is the difference? Vertical scaling, it means nothing but instead of 8 GB RAM on 1 TB hard disk, what you will do is you will increase it to around 50 GB RAM and 5 TB hard disk. Okay, your problem is solved. So as of now, it is taking 10,000. If you move it to 50 GB RAM and 5 TB hard disk, it will handle around 50,000 requests per minute. The problem is solved. This type of increasing, the data is going to call as a vertical scaling. So you are increasing the size of the computers and everything. Your problem is solved. This is called vertical scaling. Like this, you can able to handle your request coming to Node.js or Java. Okay. Now, what is a vertical scaling? So vertical scaling is nothing but instead of upgrading your system with 5 GB, 50 GB RAM and 1 TB hard disk and everything, what we are going to do? We are going to, instead of we have one system, we are going to purchase 4 more servers with the same configuration. Okay. So we are going to take 4 more systems with the same configuration. So coming to the horizontal and vertical scaling, maybe here the pricing will be high. Here cost will be, here the cost will be less. So what is happening here? Cost, you are keeping cost, you are taking only one server and increasing, but here you are taking 5 servers. And then how the requests are going to handle in these 5 servers? We are going to have a mechanism that is called routing mechanism or any load balancing mechanism. These 5 servers will keep with load balancing mechanism. Okay, so with this load balancing mechanism, what happens is, suppose there are 10,000 requests comes, all will go to the server number 1. Suppose your requests are going to increase. Whenever it felt like, okay, this server is exhausted, requests are getting over and high, what happens? This load balancing mechanism, it will see what all the systems are free. For the system, it will assign the request. Maybe from 2000, 1001 onwards, 2000, it will send the request over. Okay, and then even 20,000 plus requests are handling, it will send requests over here, 2001 to 3000. So what is happening here? You are not moving to the same system. Whenever the system is performing more and the requests are getting high, we are moving our requests to other place, other server. So that what happens? You doing a load balance and requests are going to serve easily. But now, what is the pros and cons here? So this concept of adding multiple server, this we are going to call horizontal scaling. Means you are keep on adding the mission. So which one is more efficient? Which one is going to? Horizontal scaling is the best one to use scaling purpose. So why? Why is best thing? Simple example. You are doing 8 GB. Now the requests are going up. You need to shut down your system. I need to modify your system 50 GB to 100 GB. So now the request went to 50 GB, 50,000 to 1,000, 1 lakh. You need to shut down the system, make this request from, you need to increase this 50 GB to 100 GB, and everything you need to configure. But here, what is happening in horizontal scaling? Whenever a new requests are getting increased, you don't need to shut down any of these missions. What you can do, you can just add one more mission over here and then configure that in the load balancing. That's it. There is no need to power off and there is no need to add, there need to do anything. So from 60,000 onwards, the request will go over here. And one more advantage. Suppose your net down or power went down or there is a hardware issue or there is a software issue, any issue happens, what happens? Your server is not going to give any response. Your website is down. Everything is down. Suppose if you see here, you have 6 missions, 6 servers. Suppose this server is down. 1000 to 1001 server is, this server went down because of there is a power failure or some issue happened. What happens? What happens? As soon as the server is down, whenever a request is coming to one, it will see there are 6 more server. Can we serve that request and assign it to the some other server? But here in this case, if the request, if the server is down due to power failure or some issue, hardware failure or software failure, anything, until unless this is fixed, your website is totally down. Your website is not able to handle any request. But here, even the requests are 60,000, 70,000, something, even with a less time span, even within maybe 10 seconds or 15 seconds extra time, what happens? It will go to the other second server or third server, fourth server, fifth server, sixth server. From anywhere, if the server is free, from that you can able to get the rest. So as a customer, you wanted to see your website down, or you need to get, even it may be 1 or 2 seconds late, you wanted to get the response. Which one you people like? Which one will the customer like? If there is an issue, customers wanted to see website or not. Whatever the customers don't know, it may be power failure, it may be any failure. Do the customers need what you are facing the issues? They should not know. Correct. So that what is happening here? Customers are the main persons. If there is no customers, how much this one you are doing is waste. In this case, if system is down or something happened, it will take around 2 to 3 days to finish. Till 2 3 days, you will keep your website down. You can't keep it. But here, you can see, you can able to handle anything. Maybe some latency issue, like it may be take 2 3 seconds. It may be take 5 more seconds, 5 more minutes, or 2 more minutes. But you can able to get the response. Got it? Okay. This is the way there is a horizontal and vertical scaling happens, and then by using the scaling, Node.js, even in Java also we can do vertical scaling. All Java servers also do the vertical scaling. But when you are increasing the system cost and everything will be high. Coming to Node.js, everything is open source. You don't need to do any software cost. You just need a hardware cost. That's it. But Java and everything, you need to do a software cost. You need to do system cost. There are multiple things you need to handle everything. That's reason Node.js became popular. And suppose think like you are doing a website which maximum 10,000 people will be seeing. So you don't need to do anything. So you don't want to bear any software cost. If you go to the Node.js, there won't be any software cost, only the hardware cost and everything. But if you're going with Java, dot and everything, you need to purchase the license from them. I need to make sure the website is live. I need to do a lot of things. So that makes users very easily to adapt. That's the reason people are much crazy about Node.js and doing their things. Okay, and now let's see what is a Node.js. As I said, Node.js is a open source server environment and it is free. And where it works in all operating systems, maybe Windows, Linux, all these things. And you don't need to worry about learning the Java, .NET, PHP or something, all things. So JavaScript, Node.js works on JavaScript, and you can write JavaScript executions also. So why this Node.js became much popular and why we are using this thing? Okay, Node.js is fast compared. Node.js is the same way it is compared to with other operating, other servers also. Okay, so what can more can do? So Node.js is simply like all other programming languages. It can do read write operations. Doing the see JavaScript, we can't do anything with the file modification, but by Node.js you can do anything on the servers and anything can be done by using Node.js. Okay, even Node.js, as because of this one becoming server, you don't need to do any other servers. By using Node.js, you can directly connect to the database. Okay, JavaScript, as a JavaScript engineer, you can't just directly go and connect to the JavaScript, database. What you need to do, you need to have a programming logic, maybe PHP, .NET, ASP.NET, or Java or another programming language, that server, from that server, it will connect to the database and get the request. But coming to the Node.js, it directly connects to the Node database. So by using the JavaScript, you can call Node.js, and Node.js can connect to the database and it can give you the output. Okay, got it. Now, let's go to the Node.js, how to create a server in Node.js and how to write JavaScript and how can we execute. Okay, let's see. First thing, what you need to do is you need to go Node.js. You need to download the version Node.js. What are the version you want? You have multiple version. As of now, you have 12.16.2 as a LTS and 13.2 as a current. So what is the difference between these two versions? Okay, there is no difference. Thing is like, so every time they are going to upgrade the Node.js, any issues or any new features or something. So this is the 12.6.2 is the current version used by many engineers and it is a stable version without any issues. And 13.12.0 is the current version which recently got released and still people are migrating to it, and we are trying to test it perfectly until, as suppose this 13.12.0 adapted by many users and it is stable without any issues, this 12.16 point will go and this will be the latest version. You can download this version and you can able to run. Once you download, you can Node will be installed, you can do it download and you can install in your local system. Once you do this one, okay, you can type in command node, then Node.js console will open in your system. Okay, console.log off. See here, you can see iMessage. Okay, you can see iMessage. So it is like a console. Node.js having a command prompt as well as you can able to start the things. So how can I create a Node.js server in my local system and how it can handle multiple requests? So for that, what I am going to do here is Node.js. So I am going to create a Node.js server in my local. Okay, I am going to create here. So when I'm going to write here, what is the extension? .js files is the extensions to create Node.js file, and it can start execution. So as of now, what I'm going to do, I'm just starting a server and multiple requests can come to the server. So let's see how can I do those things. Okay. So in this, we are going to have HTTP is a method, or HTTP is a JavaScript HTTP library which is used to connect request. Okay, which is used to connect the request from a server. So when HTTP equal to require HTTP. So what is this require? If you see other programming languages, C, C++, Java or anything, you are having an import, you are going to have include. Okay, like this we are going to have multiple ways to get attach one JavaScript file into other JavaScript file. The same way in Node.js, if I want to import one JavaScript file into other JavaScript file, we are going to use require or import. Okay, I'll go through one by one. So require is the place where we can get a request, and from request here HTTP is a Node.js library. From that library we are going to call the HTTP. Now what I'm going to do here is HTTP dot create server. Now what I'm doing is I'm starting a server. Okay, I'm just starting a Node.js server, and I'm going to do here function. I'm just calling a simple function with request response. Okay, with request. So I'm going to write response dot write head 200 and my content type. So what I'm trying to do is whenever a request is coming, I'm going to print the response. What response I wanted to print. So I'm going to print content type as text or HTML. So I'm going to print data in text or HTML. Okay, and then response dot end. This is my first request. This is my server and request is handled. Okay, so now what I am going to do here is, see here, I have a http dot create request. So in this http, what I am trying to do here is I am going to create a request, and then it is going to handle. So once this is handled, give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry. So what happens is like it is trying to take the request, and it is going to respond what all the request is going to have. And then what I am going to do is I am going to listen to a port number. Okay. So here what happens is like in your computer, in your system, there are multiple ports. Okay. From you can create from 0 to 10,000. There are multiple ports handles in your request. Sometimes you maybe face this issue, port number port is already used or something. Okay, each and every software in your system is handled by one port. Okay, each and every, when you open some software, it takes some port which is free in your computer. On that port it executes. So what all the requests are coming to the Node.js in this current server from this 8080 port, we are going to respond back all the. Okay, now I have created a simple Node.js server. Okay, so here whenever you are sending a request to this, after executing, whenever you are sending a request to 8080 port, this response is going to handle. So this response need to handle means you need to start this Node.js. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is cd work. I'm going to see here my server is started. Okay, this Node.js application is started. See here node on this Node.js, this Node.js is started. Let's go to any of the browsers and try to provide local host 8080. See here what output you are seeing. This server, this is my server and request is handled. See here what is happening. So now a Node.js server is live. Okay. So you have created a simple Node.js server. In your server means in your computer, you created your own server. Okay. Now, what are all the requests coming to this localhost colon 8080 will be connected to this port Node.js and then the requests are handled. Now take this here and execute in one more thing. See here my server. So you have started a server in 8080 port. See here you have started a request in 8080 port and then what are all the requests are coming to this thing will be handled. Okay, you got it. So here, instead of creating a Java server, you are creating your own Node.js server by using the node. So node is there and you are creating a server with 8080 port number. Okay. Now a 8080 port number, what are all the requests are coming is are handled. So as of now, till now what you did, you are doing all your programs in client side. Okay. The software is downloading to your client and then it is executing. As of now, if you execute this thing on this thing, from where it is handled, it is not downloading the whole Node.js application. Go to the inspect and see the output. Go to the inspect, see the console, HTML page. What you are seeing? Where is your Node.js program? Where is your program? This is all your program. Are you seeing all your program? No, because now this Node.js is a server. It's not node.js file, whatever created. It created a server and using the server, requests are handled. But if you see here, previous HTML pages and JavaScript, you have created JavaScript files. Those JavaScript files you are calling and then those are downloaded to your application and you can able to see. So Node.js is a server which will do a request. Now what you can do here, instead of localhost or 127.0.0.1 possible means your local computer, local host, and you are working in your computer, your port number will be 127.0.0. Suppose your computer is connected to a LAN, which is an intranet network. Suppose if you see in your college, there is a computer lab will be there. So come the computer lab, there are 30 to 50 labs will be, computers will be there. Those are all connected. So you can create a server in one system, all the 40 systems can be handled easily. The same way internet also works. If you create, if your computer is a public IP, okay, this is private IP. So only in your network, this is the thing. If you see public IP, people are saying public IP. So what is the public IP? That IP can be addressed from anywhere in the world. So what happens? If you purchase a public IP and this computer is having a public IP, what happens is instead of 127.0.0.1, you can create that whatever the IP you have for the system from anywhere in the world, you can touch it. Your If you are connected to the internet, through the internet, it will connect to this 192.3.3.1 machine, and in this mission at 8080 port, what is there? At 8080 port, I have a Node.js. I have started a HTTP request, and as soon as a request come to here, what is happening? It is trying to create a HTML page, and what it is giving? It is giving a response. Okay, like this Node.js works in your mission. Got it? Any questions? So what is 200 meaning? Okay, 200 means, as I told you, if you go to the network connection, what is the thing? Status. So I'm trying to send 200 success message. Suppose if you're sending 500 over here. And call this thing. See here, you are getting a 500, but still you are seeing a message. Okay, so there is no issue. Thing is like, these are all the status codes. Whenever you are sending a request, a response to the client, you need to send a status code. It is a success or it is a failure or it's some issue. So 500 is not a success message. It is an internal server message which is defined by HTTP protocol. So in HTTP protocol, everyone, they have set a rules and regulations. If a server is responding 200, server feels like this is a success message. If you're sending 401 or something, it is an error. If you're sending a 500, it is an internal server issue. There is no internal server issue, but still you are sending 500. Okay, so you need to pass the exact response code based on the request and response. See here, now the request will be 200. Okay, now, and if you see the function, okay, see here, what is going to handle. So there is a require HTTP and HTTP. This require I am going to tell in the couple of after couple of minutes. So I am going to call a HTTP node module or HTTP node or HTTP JavaScript file or something which can handle all the HTTP. So I am going to create a server. Okay, and the server, once you create a server, it is going to take it is calling a function. In this function, we are having a request and response. Okay, so whenever a request comes, it takes the request and it will print the response. And here, if you see dot listen is you are going to listen which node server, which port in your server you are going to see. Suppose if you see here, I am modifying to 1234. My port number I am giving 1234. And let's stop this one and execute one more time. Let's execute this thing. What happened? 127.0.0.1.8080. You can't reach this thing and provide 1234. See here. Okay. Got it. So your computer, you are making a server. Your system, you are making a server. Now your system became a Node.js server, and then if you go to the Java, you need to install Apache, you need to do Java summons, all the things, and you need to write Java, all Java programs there. The server need to handle, but here you don't need. You created your own Node.js server, and the request can be handled by here. Okay, that's it. Now the important concept in Node.js. So this is the actual Node.js server, and like this the requests are handled. So whenever the request, multiple requests are coming, it will take the request and it will process the request and will send the response over. That's it. And your server will be like this on always. If the request is coming, it will handle. If the request is there, okay. Now, so your server is there and you may need to write multiple lines of code, multiple pages to make sure your application is working perfectly. You can't create application in one file. You need to have multiple files. How to link between each and everything. How to call one function, how to move to one place to other place and everything. If you see JavaScript, till now we don't know how to do. If you see HTML, you can include JavaScript by using script src equal to script file and text and everything into mention. But in JavaScript, you can't include one more JavaScript. That is a big problem with JavaScript. But by using the Node.js, it can be handled by using this. So how it can be handled? The first thing here you need to know about is required. So what is a required function? Okay, what is the required? So before going to this thing, we are going to see as a understand how multiple JavaScript files you wanted to have and you wanted to use it. Simple example, I'm creating one more sample dot JS file. I'm creating a sample.js file. In this sample.js file, okay, in this sample.js file, what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to create some response data function. I'm going to create. So I'm going to return. I'm just creating as my. So I'm creating a my name function. This is the way, one more way you can write a function instead of writing like this. Okay, like this you can. Now, so I have a sample.js file. I have a Node.js server here. So these JavaScript files I need to execute and then I need to get the output. I need to get my name to the. So how can I do those things? So in JavaScript, it came with a concept that is called exports. Okay, that we are going to call as a exports. So what is an export? Okay, so export is mainly used to divide your programs into multiple pages, or that multiple pages we are going to call as modules. Okay, so instead of writing everything in one single JavaScript page, you can write multiple JavaScript files, and whenever you want them, you can just add them from your application. Okay, you can add them by using your application. So exports my name and I'm going to give my name here. So this sample.js file, I need to add this JavaScript Node.js file. I need to get the output. So what I can do? So here where name equal to I can require. So what is the require here now? Here require is nothing but you are going to import, you are going to get one more JavaScript file. So what I am trying to do here, there is a sample.js file. I am requiring it. Okay. So what is the difference between this require and this require? So there is no difference. Here, this is a user defined JavaScript file and this is Node.js defined JavaScript. So that's reason you don't need to write .js. Even you can write .js also. Even you can write .js also. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, I'm going to call sample.js file from my current, and then what I'm going to do here is so I'm going to call my name dot, what is the file function name? My name. Let's execute this program. See here. One minute. See here, you can see the output, whatever the data I'm printing. You can see the output Nanda and Nanda. See here, my name is Nanda. So you can able to see the output. Okay. Now what more you can do? You can create a HTML page here. As of now, you are seeing the data correct. Instead of this one, instead of sample.js, you can create a HTML page. You can input the data, and here you can connect to the database by using sample.js. You can connect to the database, and in the database you can do operation, and you can send back the response. You can see the response. Okay, you got it. So you are creating a server, and then these things we are going to call as an Express.js. Okay, so Node.js is just a server. Okay, Node.js is just a server, but this writing these functions like require, you're writing the require correct, and create server, and these things we are going to do with Express. Express.js is a framework which is on top of Node.js or library, which is used to create Node.js server in JavaScript and be able to execute. Okay. So in this, the first important foremost thing that is called, what is that? Is requires and exports. Okay, what is the requires? Requires is the function which is mainly used to get some other JavaScript file. And then what is here? This HTTP. HTTP is a predefined Node.js module. Okay, so Node.js having a predefined HTTP module. So why we need to use those things? So we need to use this one to get some requests, transfers, or hypertext transfer protocol HTTP. So whenever you are calling something over a web, it need to be achieved by using this HTTP server. Okay, and here the next thing is create server. Okay, in HTTP module in Node.js there is a create server module. What happens is like this method used to create a HTTP server. So by using this HTTP server, we can able to handle, and there is a callback method which is called listen 1234. So in this port number, you can able to listen, and so from that port number, you can able to respond all the requests. And this port number 1234 is the responsible for to take a request and execute this thing and respond back through that response. Respond back to that protocol. Okay, got it. So here what I can do is here is I can write here I can write few more things. Request dot write. I can write request dot UI. If we execute this thing over here, let's see what is going to happen. So here see there is a slash you are seeing, just a slash you are seeing. And see here you can see slash. Suppose if you provide as ABC. So in your website you may need to handle multiple requests from about a space, index space, contact space, like this multiple requests you may need to handle. Suppose here you have provided home and execute. You can see this URL, from this URL you can able to handle from contact. So but here what happens, as of now my current server is working on 1234. There is no restriction. After 1234, whatever it is coming, it will try to accept the request and it will try to provide you the response. Okay, it will try to provide you the response. Got it. Any questions here? So to do this thing, we are going to use a file system. Okay, to do this one, we are going to use a file system. So what is a file system? So file system, by using the file system in Node.js, you can able to read multiple files of, it may be HTML or it may be any file, you can able to get those data. Okay, so let's see how can able to do those things. Okay, to do those things, you can do the concept that is called HTTP came up with a concept that is called file system. Okay, so that is going to call require of file system fs. So I'm going to have a fs module and I'm having this. Now let's see, instead of printing some data here, let me try to get the file system. Okay, and display that data. So now I am going to create a sample HTML one home.html. This is a sample HTML. This is a home HTML page. Okay, I have a home.html page. Now let's try to read this HTML file. I have a file system, correct? Now what I'm going to do over here, let's see. List of all these things. I'm going to read the fs dot read. I'm going to read a file. Okay, I'm going to read a file that is called, what is the file name? Home.html. Home.html. And then once I read this home.html, I'm going to call a callback function that is called request and response, same like previously, or it is going to, this callback function is read, this file read system and write system is having a callback function which will return two parameters, one is error and one is data. So what is this error? Suppose when you are reading this one.html file by using read file function, if any error occurs, that error data will be in error parameter. And what are all the data you have, you read, will be in the data variable. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is see. So I'm going to just write request dot as a HTML and response dot write off data. And let's execute this file. Sorry, I have added one more extra parameter. This one is handled here. Here you need to close this one. Let's start the server again. See, my server is started, and let's execute this page. What happened? Well, no basic concept. HTML. Whenever you face an issue, just try to provide the data over here. Okay, here console.log all same works like our JavaScript, how console.log working, it will print you the response. Undefined. So data, the file is not able to read. So whatever the by using the first.read file, it is not able to read the home.html file. That's reason it is giving you the issue. Okay, this reason it is giving you the issue. Let me see why it is not reading the file. So home.html. Got it. See here, it is trying to print the data. Buffer, some data is coming here. You can able to see the data. Let me see why it is not sliding. So why it is not here is the response dot end is not ending. See here, this is home page HTML. This server is handled. So as of now, normally when you go to the execution, you don't need to write this data, or what you can do is like response. You don't need to just end the function with empty data. And you have HTML, correct? See here, I am just removing the console.log and write.data, and this is a HTML page. This is okay. See here, you can see the HTML file you have. And now see here, I'm not going to stop the server. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to add my H2. This is H2. This is server, correct? Now, if you just execute this thing, you're not more stopping the server, you're not doing anything. The server is running, and whenever it is trying to do, it is trying to read the file and get the data and print the out. And the request and response are handled perfect. Okay, like this, you can able to read the file system, and even you have write the files by using request dot file system fs dot file. You can able to fs dot write file instead of read file. What you can do here is, okay, what you can do here is you can do fs dot read file, and you can do the read filing also. Okay, so here fs dot write file. Okay, by using this function you can able to write file out. Okay, this is the way how Node.js works and how file system works, and what is the use of read file and fs modules. Whenever it is a public port, I'm not getting your question. Yes, see, it may be public port, private port, everything. Your server is running. Whenever the data is modifying, you are trying to request that, you can get the request. So it is just a server. It is creating a server, and this you are going to do lot of operations in this server, and multiple users can request this and can able to give a response. Okay, got it. This is all about Node.js and Express.js. And in the next class, what we are going to see is we are going to see couple of things in Node.js. Okay, so how to do URL modules. Okay, how to do a URL. As of now, we have seen only home page, correct? Every request is handling from the same URL, or you can append any URL. You can do multiple URLs, and then we can see couple of node modules, how to create a node modules and how to connect to the database, and then we will go to the React case. Got it? So we will see in the next modules, we will see next sessions, we will be seeing the Node.js with URLs modules, and then Node.js we'll see the React, and then next finally we'll go to the data. Got it? Fine then. Have a great day. Good night.